Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Keith Thurman is predicting an early knockout. He's saying he's going for the knockout. He's trying to get a first or second round knockout. But at the same time, he's giving Manny Pacquiao more than a puncher's chance. Because Keith Thurman, he also said, Manny Pacquiao, he better catch me first. Keith Thurman, he's aware of Manny Pacquiao's speed. He's aware of his power. And he says that's why this fight is so intriguing. Regardless of Manny Pacquiao's age, this is the first time that Keith Thurman has been in the ring with someone with the skills of a Manny Pacquiao. I've already told you guys, no matter how this fight plays out, it's going to tell us a lot more about Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, and Floyd Mayweather. If Manny Pacquiao goes in there and either wins the fight or he makes the fight competitive, it's going to tell us how great of a fighter Manny Pacquiao is. Or at least how great he is when he's not taking USADA or VADA testing, which coincidentally, it was reported today that now they are doing some form of random drug testing. Not VADA, not USADA, some form of drug testing through the Nevada State Athletic Commission. And get this, the man that runs the Athletic Commission, Bob Bennett, he said, we can't tell you who's going to be tested and who's not going to be tested. So in other words, we're still in the same position. Pacquiao and Keith Thurman are still in the same position that they were in before this report came out. Before, there was no guaranteed, random, strenuous Olympic-style testing, and there still isn't. And we still don't even know who's going to be tested and who's not going to be tested, according to the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Now, and I'll talk more about that on another video, but getting back to the point when I said this is going to tell us a lot more about all three of those fighters, Thurman, Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, when it comes to Keith Thurman. If Keith Thurman's prediction were to come to fruition and he were to knock out Manny Pacquiao in the first or the second round, regardless of what age Manny Pacquiao is, that would be extremely impressive, and that would definitely catapult the status of Keith Thurman. He would be respected way more, especially considering the fact that Manny Pacquiao just came off of two good wins over Matisse and Adrian Broner. Now, on the other hand, if Keith Thurman goes in there and he struggles with Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao looks great, regardless if Manny Pacquiao wins or loses, this is going to completely eliminate what we already knew was an excuse anyway, but people saying that Manny Pacquiao was too old when he fought against Floyd Mayweather. We're going to know for a fact that that wasn't the case. If Manny Pacquiao does better at an older age against a younger Keith Thurman than he did at a younger age against an older Floyd Mayweather. Because keep in mind, some don't know this, but Floyd Mayweather is older than Manny Pacquiao. It's funny because I was talking to a guy at the gym that noticed me, and he started talking boxing with me. He talked about Pacquiao versus Mayweather, and he said, yeah, man, but the only problem is I wish we didn't have to wait so long for the fight because Manny Pacquiao, he was older, and he was older than Floyd Mayweather, and I was telling him that Floyd Mayweather was actually older than Manny Pacquiao. And he was like, are you sure? Because I could have swore Manny Pacquiao was older than him. And I told him straight up, I said, bro, listen, if you constantly listen to people that are telling you what you want to hear, eventually you're going to start believing it. Sometimes you just may want to believe it. And he was like, yeah, that makes sense. I was also explaining to him that when Manny Pacquiao fought against Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao was ranked pound for pound, top 3, one of the best fighters in the world. When you're considered old and past your prime, you are usually never considered one of the best fighters in the world. You're certainly not ranked higher than the fighters that you guys consider still in their prime and are way younger than Manny Pacquiao, right? You can't be old and past your prime and still be ranked above almost everyone in the world of boxing. If that was the case, Roy Jones Jr. would be considered pound for pound number 2, one of the best fighters today, because he's past his prime. But the difference is Roy Jones, he really is past his prime. You really do see a different Roy Jones in the ring. At least what? In the last, you see a different Roy Jones in the ring. It's not the same Roy. When you watch Manny Pacquiao, you see the exact same Manny Pacquiao. Or at least we can say we've seen the same Pacquiao when he was in there against Floyd Mayweather. On top of all of that, right before the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight, there were a whole bunch of polls that were conducted, and the fans, they picked Manny Pacquiao to win the fight. So they made Manny Pacquiao the favorite to win the fight. But then as soon as Manny Pacquiao loses, these same fans, they make excuses why he lost. So we know what time it is at the end of the day. But listen, when it comes to this fight, I was one of the first people to tell you guys that Keith Thurman has a style that is somewhat perfect for Manny Pacquiao. In fact, the same thing could be said vice versa, because of course Manny Pacquiao makes a lot of mistakes and have the best defense, but let's just focus right now on Manny Pacquiao and why Keith Thurman's style gives Manny Pacquiao a chance to win in this fight. Because Keith Thurman is not an inside fighter, that gives Manny Pacquiao a perfect opportunity to be in range to constantly land the left hand. Not saying he's going to land it over and over again, but it gives him a better chance to land his favorite punch, which is the straight left. And Freddie Roach, he made a good point when he said that he notices when Keith Thurman gets hit with a good shot, he gets on his bicycle. He starts to move. And that's true. Keith Thurman has done that in a couple different fights. When he fought against, who was it? When he fought against Danny Garcia. In the first 2 rounds, Keith Thurman, he came out looking like Mike Tyson, aggressive, trying to knock out Danny Garcia. And then all of a sudden, after the second round, he started moving away from Danny Garcia. And it was just weird because he was looking really good when he was aggressive. It was looking like he was just going to completely dominate Danny and possibly knock him out later. But then all of a sudden, it was night and day. He decided to start bouncing around and boxing Danny Garcia. And then he would admit later on, it was because I think he admitted that he got caught with something by switching up the game plan. So with that being said, this is why Manny Pacquiao has a good chance against Keith Thurman. I believe this fight is going to be extremely competitive. I'm going to be talking a lot more about this fight, but that's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.